My apologies for the lack of illumination, but right now I am, at least hopefully, hatching some more clownfish. I have two out and feeding. This is after changing the spot for my brood stock, so it took them a while to spawn again. This is their first spawn in a pot, and I pulled the pot a day early because apparently this part of the tank is just a little colder and the eggs weren't ready yet on the same number of days. So next time around we're going to have to pull on the 8th day. But anyways, I was researching or watching. I don't quite call anything that doesn't involve reading research unless it's raw footage, but watching stuff regarding the connections between Trump and Silverstein. Let's see, I don't know what quite led me to get on the thought tangent. But it's rather ironic. It's rather hilarious, actually. And it just kind of proves how upside down the world is. You see, I've always contended that Christians weren't comprised of idiots, and in fact many very intelligent and successful scientists have been Christians, very faithful people. But I don't think I ever went so far as to say Christians were outright smarter than atheists. Until now, it just dawned on me that not only Christians are smarter than atheists, but atheists are a lot more blindly faithful than Christians. It's hilarious. I'm sure if you're an atheist, you're offended by this, but you probably want to hear me out, because you call yourself an objective person, right? That's right. You're an atheist. You're an objective thinker. So listen to the argument if you dare. See, for several years now, it's taken a great deal of effort to mislead the quote Christian right into turning a blind eye to the Russian instigation of their paranoia of their own government. But at the essence of it, what you have is a great deal of skepticism, a great deal of paranoia at what they're being told. They're not accepting what they're being told. And while the true Christians, many of them, being true Christians and with American patriotic senses, honored our commitment to Ukraine and subsequently supported Hillary Clinton. Yes, I want to say this right now. All the true Christians in the country voted for Hillary Clinton. All the true Christians started to doubt whether the Cold War had ever really ended. In fact, most true Christians probably weren't ever really convinced to begin with. On the other hand, so you have, before I switch to the other hand. So you have true Christians and just half-assed Christians like Fox News viewers. They managed to maintain a degree of skepticism about what was going on. But, you had Fox News very cleverly at first using abortion and the whole Bill Clinton scandal and everything else, and just, patriotism and blah, 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 to try to woo and then deceive susceptible, lukewarm Christians. Okay. But true Christians never really thought the Cold War was over. The lukewarm ones were just made to point the finger at Obama because of their racial fears and whatnot. Don't forget about the whatnot. But on the other hand, atheists. Atheists believed the Cold War was over and that Islam was peaceful because they were told, and for no other reason. You were told. You saw it on TV. You read a book. You were told. And when it came to Russia, the deceit, tracking it back, how long? Christians, it's all suddenly clicking. Atheists, not so much. Why are we still talking about this Trump-Russia stuff? Because if you look back, if you really dig into it, you have a conspiracy to destroy the Christian church. And that involves peddling a lot of what atheists, quote, believe in because they've been told. But it was actually Soviet propaganda meant to undermine the moral fabric of this country. And Christians were skeptical of it. Christians used to know what communist propaganda was. Atheist, everything you believe in is based on this propaganda. You believe what you were told because the devil's army wants you to believe exactly what you do. Not very vigilant of you. Not very scientifically sound to allow emotional torment from childhood and the actions of hypocrites and the Republican Party to dictate your discernment of reality itself. Oh, these people are assholes, so Christianity itself must be wrong? Guess what? All along, there's been plenty of Christians who are the very best of people, who will give you the shirts off of their backs, and not so they can make a YouTube video about it. True Christians question all things. And it is that need to question that leads to a relationship with God. There isn't a single true Christian out there who hasn't been audacious enough to try to test God, to try to see, if I do this, will this happen? And sometimes it's just a lesson in inequity. Sometimes it's just a lesson in impatience. But there comes this time in their life when they feel their spirit mature, and then that test comes out and yields a positive, and they realize that their relationship with God was real and that God was waiting on them to prove themselves before he would prove himself to them.